The next surah, inshallah, Surah Al-Maun, which is surah number 107, and it's Makki surah. Some said that for the first few verses Madani, so it's 7 verses. It was said to be revealed after Surah At-Takathur. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون الماعون أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم بشدة ولا يحض ضاد على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين نغنى النون ساوند الذين هم عن صلاتهم إخفاء عن النغنى of the إخفاء is heavy عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون مد ويمنعون الماعون. So the first ayah أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. Have you seen him who denies the recompense, the deen? So he says here in the tafsir يقول تعالى ذاما لمن ترك حقوقه وحقوق عباده. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned here condemning the one that would turn away from the rights of Allah and the rights of the human beings. أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين. Have you seen the one that denies الدين, which is the day of recompense? أي بالبعث والجزاء فلا يؤمن بما جاءت به الرسل. So he does not believe in what the messengers of Allah came with. It was said to be revealed in Al-As ibn Wa'il and others, or Al Mughira said to Abi Jahl. But what matters is that it's for everyone that would fits the same characteristics. أرأيت الذي, and this is to show how evil that is. This is to be amazed of the affairs of those who would deny the day of resurrection, the day of recompense, and ad-din is al-jaza, the recompense, especially with their evil actions. فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم. That is the one that repulses the orphan harshly. So يدع اليتيم, he's the one that يدع اليتيم. يدع أي يدفعه بعنف وشدة, pushes him with so much violent push. ولا يرحمه لقساوة قلبه, and he does not have mercy towards the orphan because of the harshness of his heart. ولأنه لا يرجو ثوابا ولا يخشى عقابا, because he doesn't seek rewards and he does not fear any punishment. So يدع, that means pushed away. This is what يدع means. فذلك الذي يدع اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. And continuing with the evil characteristics, and urges not the feeding of al-miskin. So he says ولا يحض غيره. He does not encourage other than him على طعام المسكين. ومن باب أولى أنه بنفسه لا يطعم المسكين, which is more likely than if someone is like this. It means he doesn't himself feed the poor or care for the poor. And al-hadd is when you entice someone to do something. And you would insist upon the matter. So ولا يحض على طعام المسكين. He does not encourage people to feed the miskin, the poor. Then the ayah says فويل للمصلين. فويل للمصلين. So woe to the musallin, to those who performs salah. That's why some said these last verses are Madani surahs, are Madani verses. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Right? So, فَوَيْلُ الْمُصَلِّينَ, this is woe or punishment, أي الملتزمون as he says, those who would punctually establish the salah. ولكنهم, but whom they are عن صلاتهم سهون, they are turning away, or they are with their salah from their stated fixed times, so delay their salah. So they are sahun when it comes to their salah. What is sahun means? As-sahu comes from forgetfulness, right? So that's what as-sahu means. It's like sujood as-sahu, right? But sahun here, the meaning of it, as he says, مضيعون لها, they neglect their salah. تاركون لوقتها, they don't pray it on time. مفوتون لأركانها, they miss their pillars of the salah. And that is وهذا لعدم اهتمامهم بأمر الله. And that clearly states that they don't care about the command of Allah. حيث ضيعوا الصلاة, when they abandon the salah التي هي أهم الطاعات وأفضل القربات, the best act of obedience and the best thing that gets a person closer to Allah. والسهو عن الصلاة, and to be diverted away from the salah, هو الذي يستحق صاحبه الذم واللوم. This is what a person is deserved to be condemned. وأما السهو في الصلاة, so we have سهو عن الصلاة because that says عن صلاتهم. That means they overlook their salah. They don't make their salah. They delay their salah. As for السهو في الصلاة, the سهو in the salah, that's هذا يقع من كل أحد. This, everyone falls into this. حتى من النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم, even the Prophet عليه الصلاة والسلام, he made سهو in the salah. So the sahw here is عن الصلاة. So as you see, the importance of the letter makes a big difference in the meaning. Because if it's fi, that means anyone that, for a split of a second that he is not focused in the salah, or he forgets something in the salah, that means that there's a severe warning for such an individual, which is not the case. But here it's عن صلاتهم, that means they are delaying their salah, or so عن from their salah. So they're not making the salah, or they're delaying the salah. So as-sahw here, as we heard. So as it's mentioned by the ulama, that means they delay it from its beginning of its time, to always make the salah at the end of the time. So this is one of the meanings of it. So they pray Fajr constantly before sunrise. They always pray Dhuhr late, before Asr, Asr before Maghrib, like this. And they're continuously doing such a thing, most of the time like this. Or they would wait till the next salah comes, which is, of course, it's a major, major sin. So this is the ways of the hypocrites. So الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراؤون, those who show off. فهم الرياء الذين هم يراؤون, as he says here, they ولهذا وصف الله هؤلاء بالرياء والقسوة وعدم الرحمة. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala described them as people of show off and harshness and no mercy. So الذين هم يراؤون أي يعملون الأعمال لأجل رئاء الناس. They do the actions for people to see them, and the riya is a huge subject, and it's important for a person to be warned against it. الذين هم يراؤون. And then the last ayah, ويمنعون الماعون, one of the evil characteristics is that they would يمنعون الماعون, which means they refuse الماعون, which is small matters of kindness, as he mentions here, which means أي يمنعون إعطاء الشيء الذي لا يضر إعطاؤه على وجه العارية. They withhold even giving the smallest things that is insignificant whatsoever. If a person gives it as a gift, or as a way, or lending something, it's not lots of money. It's something that is an act of kindness that are very small. Like, for example, al-ina, to give your neighbor a pot. They asked for a cup, you give them a cup. والدلو, a bucket. الفأس, someone digging in his yard, for example, you give him your shovel. ونحو ذلك مما جرت العادة ببذلها والسماحة به, which is the norm of the people, that they would give it to one another. They don't feel uncomfortable helping one another with these simple tools and things like this. So he says, فهؤلاء لشدة حرصهم, and these people, because of their greed that is intense in them, يمنعون الماعون, so they even withhold الماعون. So how is it then with what's bigger? So and some said this is they withhold their zakah and things like this. So this is how they deprive others from the very simple matters, that and ma'un comes from al-i'ana, when you help someone with something very simple. So he says وفي هذه السورة, in this surah, الحث على إكرام اليتيم, the encouragement to honor and to take care of the orphan والمساكين and the poor, والتحضيض على ذلك. التحضيض from حض, from الحض, that means to encourage others to do so. ومراعاة الصلاة, and to establish the salah and to guard it. والمحافظة عليها وعلى الإخلاص فيها, to be sincere in it. وفي جميع الأعمال. And by the way, just a side note, and it's going to be in the study guide for the tafsir, inshallah. Pay attention to these benefits that he mentioned in the tafsir. So when he says وَفِي هذه السورة, and in this surah, then he lists the benefits. In these verses, and then he lists benefits. So this is important, inshallah ta'ala, also for the exam, inshallah ta'ala. He says وَالْحَثُّ عَلَى فِعْلِ الْمَعْرُوفِ, and to be encouraged to do the ma'ruf, and to give the ma'ruf. وَبَذِّ الْأَمْوَالِ خَفِيفًا, and to give the small amount of money that is not difficult for a person to give. كَعَارِيَةِ الْإِنَاءِ وَالدَّلْوِ وَالْكِتَابِ, like a pot, a bucket, book, and the like of that. لأن الله ذم من لم يفعل ذلك, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala condemned the one that doesn't do so. والله سبحانه وتعالى أعلم بالصواب والحمد لله رب العالمين. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best what is correct, and He subhanahu wa ta'ala deserves the perfect praise. And when it comes to reading the Quran, which is an obligation upon each and every one of us to reflect upon the book of Allah, to act upon it, regardless of one's egos and desires and other people, what they say or what they act. It's not about other people or so, it's about the commands of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So this is with Surah Al-Maun.